Welcome back to the Homestead Miami Speedway. It's a warm and humid day here in South Florida, but the ambient heat is nothing compared to what we might see on the racetrack in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Excitement is starting to peak. It's just a matter of hours before the checkers will fly, closing out the 2013 Nationwide Series season. And along with that, a new champion will be crowned. Time now to go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as Private First Class Bruce W. Carter, Medal of Honor, Young Marines, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor Scott Claunch from Calvary Chapel offers our invocation.
Let's pray. Father, we know that freedom is not free, and so we take time to honor those who have paid the price, our missing in action, our POWs, our fallen heroes, the active duty and first responders around the world. And we also ask today for the drivers and pit crews, for their safety, for the fans and all in attendance here today. Thank you for the sponsors and all who have made this possible. And we thank you for sending your son that we might have an understanding of the width and depth of your love for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Miami actress and recording artist Elizabeth Elias.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And
And with that, the stage is set for the Ford EcoBoost 300, the season finale for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and a champion will be crowned this afternoon. Before we go up top, guys, going to give you a chance to tell us what you're watching for.
For me, I'm going to be watching Matt Kenseth. There's no doubt about that. What will his approach tonight be? I talked to Matt just 2 hours ago. He said, Rusty, I wish I had a redo, and I would not have run that race in Phoenix last week. I think it really messed me up on Sunday, and that was a pretty big statement coming from Matt.
Yeah, you called that last week. Good job on that. I'm watching for one of the Nationwide regulars to step up and win this race. Kyle Larson, it's time for him to get that W. Maybe he gets it today.
Tires. Nationwide Series is limited. Who saves the set? Got him on the knee.
Tires ain't pretty.
Tires.
Well, you guys gave us a few things to watch for, but there's so many other things to pay attention to, and lots of action is set to play out here on the racetrack. Time now to go upstairs to the gentleman who will be calling it, Andy Petrie, Dale Jarrett, and, of course, Alan Bestwick.
All right, Michael, thank you. And let's talk about the stage on which this championship will be decided. This very fast mile-and-a-half track presents a lot of opportunity. Opportunity for great racing, but opportunity to find some trouble, too.
Yeah, it's all out there. We're going to see 2, 3, and 4 wide racing at times. A great racetrack. The drivers love the challenge that this presents. But it's a huge risk reward out there for you. How much of a chance and risk are you willing to take to run on this fast lane, which is right up literally inches from the wall, but inches from disaster if you're not careful? So are you willing to take that chance, collect your trophy at the end of the day?
Yeah, but what a great racetrack. The one that gives up grip as these tires wear. Only one fast lap really that has grip is that very first one. After that, they're searching all over the racetrack for it. They'll go up next to that ball within an inch or so trying to find it.
And a great example here of how easy it is to find trouble. Look at that average green flag run in the NASCAR Nationwide Series here since 2003. 19 laps. That means we see some yellow flags waving during the course of this race. Now, for the two drivers competing for that series championship, Austin Dillon and Sam Hornish, there are a number of other drivers looking to crash their party. Not literally crash them and take them out of the race, but crash their party in terms of championship points.
Yeah, they're going to, for Sam Hornish, he's going to have to outrun some really good cars to win this championship. He's going to have to outrun Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth, and Kyle Busch. And if he does that, Austin's going to have to do it as well if he's going to retain that point lead.
Yeah, it certainly adds to this field and the drama of everything's going to happen. But when I look at it, if Sam Hornish can beat his two teammates in this, he's got an excellent chance of winning this championship because he's probably not expected to outrun Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. But if he does that, this title could be his.
Better get in that car, Brad. Let's go. Time to fire him up from Homestead Miami Speedway for the final race and championship decider for the Nationwide Series. It starts next.
The Ford EcoBoost 300 is brought to you by your next truck, Ford F-150, and Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
Florida, less than an hour away from sunset and 300 miles away from finding out who this year's NASCAR Nationwide Series champion is going to be.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Group Vice President of Global Product Development at Ford Motor Company, Raj Nair.
Drivers, start your engines!
You good?
Now the talk is over. The title rivals, it's time to get down to business. Probably the best moment of the week for Sam Hornish and Austin Dillon when they get to fire the engines on these race cars and go at it at this Homestead Miami Speedway. Another championship on the line as well, the team or owners championship, and this man will be a key player in deciding that one. Our ESPN in-race reporter on the day is Kyle Busch, 12 times a winner this season, going for 13, which would equal his own mark for wins in a campaign. Kyle's been dominant here at Homestead lately. We'll talk to them on the pace laps next. November. And the spectacular Homestead Miami Speedway, where the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, the Ford EcoBoost 300, is about to get underway. The field of cars about to roll from the pit lane onto this fast mile-and-a-half track. So, two championships at stake today. Of course, the Nationwide Series Drivers' Championship, 8 points separating Austin Dillon and Sam Hornish Jr. starting the day. And you see where they're lined up for the beginning of this race. Heading our lineup down on pit road is Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Alan. And folks, when you grow up in a racing family with a legendary grandfather like Richard Childress, you know that it's your destiny to become a NASCAR champion. In a sport where history and family are so important, Austin Dillon knows that if he pulls this off today, he will be only the second, third generation driver to have ever done it, joining the family named Earnhardt. And oh yeah, by the way, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. did it, he was also driving car number 3. Here's Vince Welch.
Trailing by just 8 points in the championship, Sam Hornish knows they do not need a Hail Mary. That deficit can be erased with just a handful of positions on the track. The crew chief Greg Irwin knows he must make the right calls today, and his crew must be error-free during their pit stops. Put Sam out ahead of Austin Dillon, put the pressure on that 3 team. And if it happens to make a mistake, be ready to capitalize and get Sam Hornish in this 12 group the championship. Alan?
Okay, Vince, thanks. So that's the Drivers' Championship. NASCAR tracking separate points for teams. And Roger Penske's 22 ahead of Joe Gibbs' 54 by that many points. Not a whole lot starting the day. Let's get some story updates on that championship, beginning with Dave.
And Alan, earlier today, Joey Logano laid out for me the scenarios by which his 22 team can give Roger Penske its first Nationwide Series Owners Championship. There was a lot of details, but Joey said, hey, I got to know what's going on. I do know I've got to keep the 54 in sight. Really, I just got to win. He already starts ahead of Kyle Busch. Jamie Little?
And Kyle Busch has already had a weekend to celebrate. Last night he won the Truck Series race and managed to win his second championship as a team owner. So needless to say, he's up for that task again tonight. His crew chief, Adam Stevens, told me they came to this race to lead the most laps, win the race, and win the owner's championship. He said simply, if we don't, it's a disappointment, and quote, the one that got away. Now keep in mind, he wins this race. It's his 13th on the year as a part-time driver. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. And Kyle Busch, our ESPN in-race reporter on the day. 2 more pace laps before the green. Let's talk to him.
Hey, Kyle, Dale Jarrett, ESPN booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, right here, DJ.
Okay, Kyle, thanks for talking with us today. We're going to go right to our mailbag question from Chris in Granby, Colorado. He says, after winning the truck race and owner's championship last night, how do you like your chances today to make it 2 for 2?
Well, I think our chances are pretty good. We've certainly had some great race cars this year, and true testament to this team and everyone at Monster Energy, Adam Stevens, and you know, we've had some fun this year, so it'd be nothing better than to come out here and try to lead the most laps and win the race, and if we do that, I think things will go our way.
Hey, Kyle, along those lines, now you hold pretty much every record in this nationwide series, and you can tie one of your own records here today with another victory. But if it comes down to maybe taking a risk on this slick racetrack to try to get that win versus sitting in a position that could get you that owner's championship, which do you take tonight?
Well, you certainly got to be mindful of both situations. So as it's coming down towards the end, obviously you got to be thinking about your points, but also you want to be thinking about the win too. So we just hope that we don't have to think about 2 situations, and you know, we're just worrying about going to get a win, and when we win the race, everything else takes care of itself.
All right, Kyle, good luck in that. Thanks for talking with us. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Adam Stevens.
Hey, Adam Stevens, Andy Petrie up here in the booth. You have us? Hey, Adam Stevens, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
Sir, go ahead.
Hey, Adam, this is a tough racetrack. You certainly have the right race car driver to handle these tough conditions. It's going to chew up a lot of tires. They're not going to last very long. How are you going to manage that with just the few sets you have in the pits?
Boy, that's a great question. You know, this place in Texas and Atlanta are just so hard on tires. And you really have to have something left to put on in the last pit window so you don't get ate up, you know. There's tire fall-off is just tremendous. So if we don't get long green flag runs here and we get broken up, you'll see a lot of alternate pit strategies where we'll be forced to save a set of tires and then hope the cautions fall our way from there.
Yeah, we'll be watching for those scenarios. I'm sure you'll handle it right. Thanks for talking to us, Adam. Good luck.
You guys.
Adam Stevens getting ready to call the shots for Kyle Busch today. We'll have some great shots from onboard Austin Dillon's car today with our AdvoCare on board.
You got me right there, bud? Got you there, buddy. All right, 10-4. Have a good day here. Focus, guys. Execution right here. At its best. Get her done here. Proud of everybody.
Austin's rival for the title, Sam Hornish Jr., is carrying our Goodyear on board.
You guys, it'll be an honor to call you our champion. So you guys be careful out today and good luck to you. We'll talk to you at the end of the race.
Matt Kenseth has our GameStop on board. And Joey Logano has the Shell Pennzoil camera. Justin Allgaier with the Chevy on board. And Michael Annett with the Fresh from Florida camera. Brad Keselowski has our Ford EcoBoost on board. And Kyle Busch with our Nationwide insurance camera. And we remind you that during today's Ford EcoBoost 300, NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy has enhanced coverage for you from Homestead Miami Speedway with 10 HD live race views, live chat, and live leaderboard. So, mile-and-a-half track, 300 miles, it's 200 laps around here today. Sun's going to set in less than an hour. Track conditions going to change. And that big strategy factor, the tire wear, and the limited number of sets of tires teams are allowed to change by rule in this series.
Yeah, you're going to see this racetrack really get slicker, actually looser as it's not going to get slicker, but it's really going to be looser for these guys when it starts cooling down, from what I've heard.
And 2 drivers for 1 championship trophy. Austin Dillon trying to hold off Sam Hornish Jr. for the Nationwide Series championship. Sam firing the first volley of the day, winning pole position in qualifying earlier. He leads the field to the green flag. First lap, Penske cars 1, 2, 3. And as they run, because Sam Hornish just led that lap and collected that bonus point, check out the standings as they shuffle throughout the day.
Yeah, Sam could get Joey and Brad to line up behind him back there and make it tougher for everybody to get by. It'd be a great feeling for him today.
Only one problem is they can't hold this guy back.
It's going to be tough for sure.
That's Brad Keselowski in the 48 car here for this race.
We can see the car that was on the inside. Blake Cook had a great qualifying effort in that 99 car. Kind of spun his tires, but he was really, talked to him, really excited about his chance here today.
Third place and first place. Keselowski working on Hornish, while Kyle Busch works on Joey Logano. 32, Kyle Larson. A lot of folks thought that young man could have a shot at his first win.
Well, he sure does too. Talked to him before qualifying, and he liked his chances here today. Loves this type of racetracks where it's kind of slick. We see Brad trying to take the lead away, but Kyle's pretty excited about today and tomorrow.
Yeah, you talk about Kyle Larson. He doesn't usually qualify that good. He qualified 8th. You wouldn't think, well, that's not that great. That's a great qualifying run for him. That says he's going to have a good car today.
18 is Matt Kenseth. Wow, Kyle Busch tried that higher line there, and look at the ground he lost to Joey Logano.
Yeah, it takes you a lap or two to get that feel back. They haven't been on the racetrack in racing edition since yesterday afternoon, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get the feel of your car up against the wall, but that's going to be the place that you're going to have to go race tonight.
So you're Sam Hornish, and you're trying to lead the most laps and get that bonus point. Here's your teammate worrying you down to that bottom side lap after lap in the early going.
Yeah, that's all I can about say is got to outrun them all. Yeah, you do. And, you know, you'd like to think you might get a little cooperation, you know, especially here at the beginning of the race, just to get some laps under your belt and get things going that would be beneficial to you. I think Sam knew that all day long and through the night that he was going to have to race his teammates here.
I don't, well, I was going to say, the 22 car you see in third in line, he needs to lead a lap 2 for this Owners Championship. There's so many things to follow in this race. You got the Drivers' Championship, the Owners' Championship, and the Manufacturers' Championship.
That was more like what I expected to see. All right, Sam's going to run on me. I'm going to let him go.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, Sam, yeah.
12 car wiggling around there.
Yeah, you can run down there, but you just got to know that in doing that, you're probably going to use the tires a little bit more, and you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, why is it on these slick racetracks where these tires give up so much grip and like this, that they always migrate right up next to the wall?
Well, there's a couple of things. It's, you don't have a cushion like we would speak about on a dirt track, so to speak, but there is a cushion of air between that wall and your race car and being there. And you can run a little bit harder up there and not slide. Plus, you're not turning the steering wheel as much up there. It's just easier to go around, and you're not abusing the tires. You can get more out of them for a longer period of time, and you can drive the car around the corner with the throttle from up there.
Third place, 22 Logano, 54 Busch, 32 Larson.
I did talk to a number of other drivers that said Kyle Larson may be the car and driver to beat here before this is over tonight.
You see how Joey Logano kind of soft pedaled it into the corner, but then got back to the throttle and used that momentum to keep that position.
The Ohio native, Sam Hornish Jr., needing to overcome a little bit of a deficit to win the championship. Right now, he's leading the race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Going in the Ford EcoBoost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Homestead Miami Speedway in South Florida, final race of the season. And Sam Hornish trying to overcome Austin Dillon for the championship, leading this race, but a great fight for second is shaping up behind him. 5 cars for 1 spot. Joey Logano, the yellow 22, trying to take that runner-up spot away from Brad Keselowski in the 48. So Penske cars running 1, 2, and 3, with 2 Joe Gibbs Racing cars in 4th and 6th, Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth. Just establishing for you that Austin Dillon, after starting in the 11th position, has kind of found a place to ride in line for most of this early lap.
Yeah, the only problem is his competitors found a nice place to ride too. It's just up front.
Yeah. See Elliott Sadler there. He didn't have the greatest qualifying run. He told me he wasn't sure what he had for qualifying, but thought that his car was going to be pretty good in the race. He's moved up into that 10th spot.
Picked up 7 in the opening laps. Kyle Busch trying to pick up 2 for 1. He'll get 1. Kyle up to 3rd. And now Kyle Larson with the momentum as Keselowski checked up a little bit.
He kind of had to check up or get into the back of the 54, it looked like right there.
And Brad's been down the bottom running a lot, and the longer you stay down there, the more you're going to hurt those tires, and you're going to pay the price, and you pay for it more on the exit of the corner.
Well, it has to look inviting for the driver. You can drive down in there. It looks like you can make that pass, and then all of a sudden you lose it.
You know, watching Matt Kenseth there in that 18, just thinking how funny it is. You come to these championship deciding weekends, and the guy that's second, I'm thinking that Matt, being on the pole for tomorrow's NASCAR Sprint Cup race, where he trails Jimmy Johnson by a chunk, wins the pole for that race. Here's Sam Hornish, second in points coming into this one, wins the pole for this race.
Yep.
Isn't it funny how that always works?
Well, we appreciate him setting up good storylines for us and helping out.
And the guy that has to run 15th or better always seems to be running about 15th when this thing comes down to the end, too.
Yeah, Matt said he had actually told me last week that he was looking forward to running this because he said this is one of those tracks that more time you're on it, because you have to run so close to the wall and do things that it helps you get that rhythm.
Well, that's a great pass by Kyle Larson. Looks like Kyle Busch might try to come back.
Yeah, he's going to have to drive it hard into this corner. Let's see if Kyle Larson side drafting a little bit early on here.
Kyle gets back around Kyle.
Good passes by both Kyles there in the same lap.
As slick as this racetrack is, you'd think that dirt track experience that Kyle Larson has would pay off here.
10th place, Austin Dillon, 3, trying to take it from Brad Sweet in the 5.
I think Austin Dillon is in a different type situation. He just has to manage this race until it really comes time to settle what's going to happen. You work on your race car. You know the track conditions are going to change. You just keep yourself within that distance that you need. And again, make that last pit stop the one that counts, and you've got your car adjusted.
Justin Allgaier trying to follow Dillon up through some of the traffic. Let's see if he can't get by Dillon and pick up that 10th running spot.
Bud, what do you got here? Loose right now, man. Loose on the exit. A little loose everywhere. Turn that brake fire.
Danny Stockman, Dillon's crew chief.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're using a whole lot of brakes, so I don't know about the brake bias there, but unless that's a code word for something else that they're, maybe wanting to talk about there. How about it, Doc?
I'm not sure about the code word, but yeah, he's been complaining the car's very, very loose. They're telling him to tiptoe and take it easy. His grandfather, Richard Childress, told him right before he jumped in the car, he said, if the car's not handling right, understand this, son, the only one that can beat the 3 car is the 3 car. You're the only one that can beat yourself today. If the car isn't right, then manage it until we can get it right. Don't try to do anything you shouldn't do on the racetrack. That's how you win a championship.
He would know.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
6 NASCAR Sprint Cup championships. A few more Nationwide Series championships for Richard Childress. And trying to watch his grandson Austin win a Nationwide Series championship today. Austin running in 10th. Sam Hornish continuing to lead this race. But we're still very early on in the going here in South Florida. And here at Homestead Miami Speedway, Sam Hornish is trying to roll up to the position where he can take home a championship trophy. His rival for the title, Austin Dillon, is losing some ground. Trevor Bayne in 12th place, trying to kick Austin Dillon back another spot.
Houston, you see how loose it is? I can't do nothing with it right now.
Stay with us here, bud. Stay with us. We'll get you fixed up here.
Austin running back in 12th place, racing Trevor Bayne for that spot.
Yeah, got his hands full right now with this loose car, and yeah, it's amazing when you get yourself in these championship battles. That level of how bad your car's driving goes up quite a bit. I don't know if you found that with your drivers.
Oh yeah, it does. And you know, that's a lot of this is nerves. I mean, it comes into this championship battle, both the crew chief and the driver, and there's nerves involved in this. And I think that the car's not exactly right, but it seems like all the RCR cars are struggling a little bit. His brother Ty is back in 17th. Got this Kyle on Kyle battle still raging.
Third place, remember the great fight they had to the finish at Bristol all the way back in March. One of the closest finishes of the year where Kyle Larson challenged King Kyle Busch and almost beat him.
Sure did. Gave us a little idea of what was to come, and even though maybe at times it hasn't lived up to that, we've seen just the greatness that I think is ahead for this young man in Kyle Larson.
Larson up to the third spot, Kyle Busch back to fourth. Larson, the 21-year-old from California, who is on his way to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series next season, and in fact will be in tomorrow's 400-miler here. Now he's going to go right after Joey Logano for second. Logano's dropped about a second and a third back off Sam Hornish's bumper.
He's starting to feel a little bit of heat from Kyle Larson now.
We saw Larson do this at Charlotte a few weeks back. Get right up against the wall, really using the throttle to drive the race car around him, making a lot of speed. He loves to do that. But then we also saw him take it a little bit over the edge down there and get into the wall. That's a great move right there, though.
Yeah, he just has to protect his race car, because this is, we talked about how treacherous it was to start this race, and it is, you know, that grip is there, there's speed, but you got to be so accurate, not making a mistake. Look at that, you can't hardly slide a piece of paper between that car and the wall.
It's got to be fun as a driver, running up there by the wall.
Yeah, that's a
where you do that.
Yeah, when your car is good and you can do that, there's nothing more fun than just to get that speed out of the car right there against the wall.
All that going on behind Sam Hornish, who continues to lead, Vince.
And Sam has led all but one lap. He says the car is starting to free up. The longer they run, the freer it gets. The track's starting to cool. Told Greg Irwin, the crew chief, maybe would take a little bigger swing at it than anticipated because the track just continues to free. Greg agreed. Certainly to make it the best, they need a little more drive off, but it's also a tick free in the center.
I tell you what, they've done a nice job of rebounding. As you can see, Logano has passed Kyle Larson back, but talking about Hornish and them, great call by Greg Irwin last week to get Sam Hornish back into position there. You know, I totally disagreed whenever he was doing it, but it sure worked out to keep them within striking distance and even have a chance, a legitimate chance at the championship here.
Check out the right side of that 32.
He's been against the wall pretty good too. Look at those marks.
You know, sometimes it can get the feeling a little too good up there. You know, you just get that confidence that, man, this thing is so good, and you try to get a little bit more out of it. Most of the time, that's not on the entry. That's when you get a little bit more throttle, and then you lose the nose just for a second.
It looked like it knocked much speed out of the car.
Right side damage here.
He's kind of fearless, you know. He just doesn't let that bother him. He takes about a half a lap to determine if it did any damage to his car and goes back after it.
So in front of Logano for second place again, though Joey's continuing to try and wrestle that spot away. And we'll show you how Larson got all that damage on the right side.
It's just bound to happen when you run that close to the wall.
And you can just see how much, you can see how far Logano was behind there, but with these cars with the tapered spacers, it takes so long to recover from that. But he's back at it, going hard again, chasing down the leader.
Yes, he is. So Sam Hornish leading, Kyle Larson closing. Drivers' Championship, Hornish leading, and Austin Dillon back to 13th. But we're just at the 50-mile mark of the Ford EcoBoost 300. There's your new leader in the Ford EcoBoost 300, Homestead Miami Speedway for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. It's Kyle Larson. Not just in the lead, look at the gap, back to second place. Caught him and left him. In second place, changing hands as Joey Logano goes now past Sam Hornish. Here's the lead change.
Yeah, pretty much what we've seen him do. It's just, he gets such a huge run there, and his car just has such good grip. He's able to make this slide job and right up in front of Sam.
Yeah, what's incredible is that he's 3/4 of a second faster than second place now that he's taking the lead.
And it's not like he's taking care of the tires or anything. He's run hard the entire run.
Out in front by 3 seconds already, Jamie.
Hard to believe this is his first time ever racing a Nationwide Series car here at Homestead. Now, Trent Owens is his crew chief calling the shots today. One thing he really likes about Kyle is the fact that he's good at searching for grip. If the car isn't good somewhere, he will find it, even if it means being all the way up at the wall, and that's exactly where he likes it. Trent just asked him, hey, how's the car? Did it free you up getting that damage? Kyle, of course, said, I love the car. It feels great right now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can't get over how much faster he is right now.
Shuffling it up. Sam Hornish sliding back. Now in danger of losing 4th position to Matt Kenseth as Kyle Busch and Joey Logano just traded 2nd. So after Penske cars ran 1, 2, 3 in the opening segment of the race, now Logano is 3rd, Hornish is 4th, Keselowski is back to 9th place. Trouble, debris, turn 2.
Caution for debris.
First caution of the race.
Right about time they were going to be thinking about green flag stops.
What's that Sam's doing?
Like he was trying to fiddle with his visor. It's getting a little bit darker, you know, the overcast, and now the sun's starting to set.
Oh, there
Like
you
getting
go.
the tear off,
Yeah.
Yep, sun's gone away now, and you need to be able to see.
Four tires going a couple rounds of fight in, going a little bit of air pressure adjustment on the rear tire. Right.
I guess if you're going to run within an inch of the wall, you need to be able to see it.
It helps if you can, yeah. That was a great run. Yeah, I talked about Kyle Larson, another young driver. I mentioned Blake Cook earlier. He stayed up, he was running 6th right here when the caution flag came out. What a great run by him.
Making the most of this opportunity, isn't he?
Sure is.
Cook driving the 99 car here this weekend for Robbie Benton's racing team.
Yeah, I was down in the garage area after his qualifying run, and I'll tell you, he was really, really happy. Great to see him get this chance.
Well, Sam Hornish and Greg Irwin and company will be happy for this chance because he had slipped back from the lead now into 5th place, and they probably had gotten about all they were going to get out of the handling package on that run.
Yeah, but I'd say Austin Dillon may be even happier because he needs to work on his car even more. You know, Sam could run up in the top 5 still and be okay. Austin was slipping back and was back in the 13th spot.
When you were in one of these championship contending positions, just saw Sam like looking up in the rearview mirror. You looking for your rival, see if you can see him?
He's looking. Probably took a glance at that big scoreboard we got here too. Feels pretty good about where he's at right now.
So first chance for the pit crews here. Remember, pit road speed limit penalties have been a story a time or two in this stretch run down at the end of the season. Championship leader starting today is in front of Doc.
Lap times aren't bad, but he said the car is loose everywhere. Danny Stockman waved off a rubber they were going to put in the left rear. Said, no, we're going to go ahead and go with wedge adjustment. Try to get some grip. Also 2 rounds. There's a round on the track bar. Going to go left rear wedge, 4 tires, slight air pressure change to try to get Austin Dillon's car to turn better without being too loose. Vince.
Well, Sam Hornish Jr.'s car definitely got too loose as that run went on, and they put 2 rounds of wedge in, 4 tire change, air pressure adjustment. By the way, Kyle Busch, the first one off pit lane.
Yeah, lead change there. Joe Gibbs Racing now to the first and second spots. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth.
Little hiccup.
One of those lug nuts bouncing away, gets under your foot. It'll take you down in a heartbeat. Championship venue, a result of the father of motorsports in South Florida, if you will, Ralph Sanchez. We are ready to restart the Ford EcoBoost 300 NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship deciding race, and the championship leader starting the day, Austin Dillon, just off the pit lane.
About big adjustment here. Big adjustment. You'll be fine. Stay up on that wheel for us. We'll keep working on it, okay? Same as last year, you know? Sure, we'll be all right.
Yeah, they did make a big adjustment. I saw them spin the left rear jack screw 3 rounds, put the track bar down 3. Definitely going to make a change.
See how it works out as we go back at it. Lead change on the pit stops. Kyle Busch, that black 54. Now the control car at the green flag.
Interesting, he chose that inside lane to restart here.
Matt Kenseth to his outside. Which lane's going to open up for Kyle Larson?
He just needs somewhere to go. Maybe the middle.
You see Elliott Sadler showing up inside that top 5 now. Actually 6th last time by.
They made a nice adjustment for Matt Kenseth on this 18 car here.
Love the action on this racetrack.
Oh, just great.
Those restarts are spectacular. So, Matt Kenseth now assuming command of this race. Kyle Busch back to second. Kyle Larson third. And Sam Hornish now in 4th spot. Brad Keselowski was aggressive on the restart. Was that little 3-wide run around the outside and picked up a few positions. As Hornish and Logano race for 4th. Three wide.
Yeah, nobody's crowding anybody. There's plenty of room there until they come to the exit, and then it starts to narrow up.
Yeah, then everybody wants that same piece of real estate.
Yep.
Trouble, turn 4, Corey LaJoie. Caution out.
Right front's flat. Take your time around there so don't tear the fender up.
Corey, the young son of 2-time series champ Randy LaJoie, 22 years old. In his first NASCAR Nationwide Series race.
Yeah, here's Corey LaJoie inside of Kevin Swindell. Chasing it up. Looks like we talked about how it narrows up off the corner. Everybody's fighting for that one piece of real estate. Gets into the left rear.
Yeah, you could see at some point in time he'd already been into the wall. The right rear quarter.
I think we're going to see quite a few of those cars like that today.
Yeah, and this is just something that you have to learn as a young driver. You get on the inside there, you lose the nose because of aero-wise. You're not getting that. You try to stay in the gas trying to make that pass. Easy to get up into that car, and then your natural reaction is to try to snatch it away.
Now, 3 youngsters there that are the future of this sport. Kevin Swindell, Ryan Reed, and then Corey LaJoie. Corey, who fought Kyle Larson for the championship in NASCAR's K&N East Series a year ago, narrowly lost out. Been running some of the ARCA Series this year. Picked up 3 wins this season. And now getting a nationwide series lesson here at Homestead Miami. His first time racing here.
Yeah, and signed on by Richard Petty Motorsports as a developmental driver for them, and seen and heard only good things about the young man.
So, Andy, everybody just in at lap 48. Caution out again.
Yeah, no, we're not coming down. They only have a certain amount of tires that they can put on this car. They have to at least keep that set for the end of the race. See the 3 car coming in. I doubt he's going to put tires on, but I bet they're going to make an adjustment.
All green all the way down here, 4,200. Coming at you guys. Keep coming. 10 away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do not slide them. Plenty of time here, guys. Plenty of time.
2 rounds in the right rear. They're going to pull the left rear tire off, put a full rubber in the left rear. Austin Dillon said the adjustments a moment ago helped it turn, but it's still very, very loose on exit. And decided to go ahead and add another adjustment in the left rear. Rubber in the left rear, 2 rounds down on the track bar. Fill it full of fuel, no tires. As Andy said, they got to save a set of tires. You saw a moment ago, grandfather Richard Childress very concerned about the fact that his grandson has a handful of a race car right now. Alan?
All right, Doc. Well, Dillon pitting from 15th place. We'll see where he lines up for the restart and discuss some of the situations that might put him in when we come back to Homestead Miami Speedway. Saturday night at the racetrack, wild things are about to happen. Tomorrow, we'll see if wild things happen in the final race of the chase. The Ford EcoBoost 400, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, all qualified well. Kenseth on the pole. Who carts home the trophy? We find out tomorrow, starting at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Matt Kenseth leading in today's Ford EcoBoost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He and Kyle Busch had a good race for the lead after that opening round of pit stops. And now Matt will have lane choice as we get back to action here in just a minute. Austin Dillon pitted from 15th. Now he's back in 23rd place.
Buddy, we're going to be fine. We need to make that adjustment now anyways. Oh, yeah, bud. Well, we're going to be good here now. We're ahead of it now, I feel like. We just got to, we're going to stay on our toes here. Everybody stay calm and pick them off one at a time. We'll be fine.
Well, sounds like Danny Sockman's selling it pretty good. It's not going well so far. They gave up quite a few spots to make adjustments. They're hoping it's going to work.
How many times when somebody told you to stay calm, did you stay calm?
Me, never.
Kenseth and Kyle Busch lead the field back for the restart. Kyle Busch tried to make a run into 3, but couldn't quite clear Kenseth.
A little contact right there as they got ready to enter 3.
It's all right. They're only doing 180.
I guess Matt Kenseth said, well, if you want it that bad, just take it.
So Kyle Busch back out in front with Sam Hornish in third right behind Kenseth. Then Keselowski, then Elliott Sadler. What a run in the opening laps in that 11 car.
Car looks really strong.
Started 18th, up in 6th.
Yeah, when I think about Elliott at a place like this, he was fortunate to come down here and test the Cup car he'll be driving tomorrow, so I'm sure that helped somewhat. But a lot of drivers liken this racetrack to Darlington. Just the lack of grip, running right up against the wall. Elliott always successful at Darlington.
Fighting Joey Logano there for 6th and 7th places.
See that 32 car, Kyle Larson. It took him about 30-plus laps in that opening run to get the lead. And then when he got it, just stretched it out. So it's going to be interesting to see how this run works out for him.
Yes, we have a battle for the lead here once again, but the one thing that makes his car run on, I can see, he goes to that top side early, and you're not turning the wheel as much, so you're not scrubbing off the speed as much there, and you're not wearing the tires as much. That's not a good way to make speed at the beginning of the run, but it's certainly going to help you later on.
Brad Keselowski. Remember, aggressive in the opening few laps of the race, then slid back.
Yeah, but he's doing almost the opposite of what you're saying, Dale. He's been running that bottom lane a lot. And he did that in that first run, too. And took the lead briefly, but then faded quite a bit during that long section.
Caution, debris in turn 2.
Now debris down there where you're at somewhere.
Whatever that may be.
Yep, definitely there. As hard as being one of the spotters around here to know exactly what that is, but a lot of the things that they run, you see it's run over right there.
And Jeremy Clements knows he ran over something. See him wiggling that car back and forth.
There it is, hugging the splitter.
So third caution of the race is out. And came out as Keselowski and Kyle Busch were fighting for that top spot. Remember when the caution comes out, where the cars were when they crossed that last scoring loop, the electronic scoring loops that are cut all around the racetrack in various places. And at least as they've fallen in line, it's Keselowski who is the race leader. So interesting last little run there. Brad really aggressively on the outside on the restart. He went like 3 wide, passed a few cars, then got down in that bottom lane and made it go.
Yeah, they must have made a nice adjustment on his car because he was able to be a lot more aggressive with his car. And we'll see how that works out for him as they get more laps on these tires. It sure felt good to him on these last 2 restarts.
A much different experience in South Florida this weekend for Brad Keselowski. Last year, he wound up the weekend celebrating a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship. And this season, he is not in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, trying to help his team owner Roger Penske in some way win the Owners' Championship in the Nationwide Series. Front runners stay out. 18th place Ryan Reed, first to come in under the caution flag. 100 miles into the Ford EcoBoost 300. Brad Keselowski with Kyle Busch to his inside and Matt Kenseth running in third.
Look at the middle of that nose, hit that piece, whatever it was, right in the center of the nose.
Both Matt and Joey Logano with some scarring on the nose of their car from hitting that chunk of debris that brought out the caution.
Now this might get interesting. Sam thought better of that.
Brad Keselowski was determined to hang on to that lead. Yeah, that's some fun racing. Hey, how about Parker Kligerman slide into this top 10 group here, up to 7th place in the 77.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier today. He was talking about how much fun this place is to race on. Really enjoy the challenge of it. He's done a nice job in this car all year.
Yeah. 2nd place on back in that old big knot. Oh, hang on there, Hornish. Had enough room to slide up in front of Kyle Larson. And Sam hanging on in 4th spot. Talked about some scarring on the nose of Kenseth's car and Joey Logano's car. And Vince, apparently it was not something insignificant they hit.
No, this is a pretty large piece of metal here, and it was definitely the debris that the 22 hit on the front of their race car, and then it ended up being stuck in the front end of the 51 when it came to pit road. So certainly the 22 and maybe some other teams dodged a bullet when they hit this debris out there on the track, Callan.
Looks like a piece of side skirt, a piece of aluminum side skirt there.
Wow.
Now you can see why it was so mangled up.
Bet that gets your attention.
Yeah, it does that. I was very fortunate that splitter did it and didn't get back there under a tire.
So Logano in 2nd, but in a good fight for that with Kyle Busch and Sam Hornish and Kyle Larson. Matt Kenseth, who was leading just a little bit ago, now finds himself back in 6th place. And now Larson losing a couple of spots in this last lap in that white and red 32. Gave up a spot to Kenseth, gave up a spot there to Elliott Sadler and more.
And this run is not going quite as well for Kyle Larson.
Remember, Austin Dillon restarted 23rd after the pit stop a bit ago. He's up to 17th. Almost made it back up to where he was. He was 15th when he pitted.
Yeah, he had a few anxious moments on that restart. I saw him get in the middle of a 3-wide situation coming off of turn 2 one time. Then he found himself on the outside of a 3-wide situation, but managed through all of that. Kind of like this.
99 is Blake Cook today. Started to tell that story before. Team was scheduled to bring a 2nd car to this race for Blake Cook to run, and then ran into some sponsorship issues with Alex Bowman and his backing, and Cook ended up coming here in just the 1 car for the team instead of them fielding a 2nd for the weekend. Landon Castle in the 4. 44 Cole Witt. All racing for this position with the championship leader starting today, Austin Dillon.
It'll be interesting to hear what he says about his car now. They made some major adjustments to tighten that car up, Andy.
Yeah, they did. They put wedge in it. They lowered the track bar. They actually came back then and raised the back of the car a little bit and put a rubber in the left rear. So, yes, they made a lot of adjustments. Looks like it might be a little bit better. It's hard to tell at this point. What are they saying about it, Doc?
Andy, basically what you just said. He said it is better than it was. It is not as loose as it was, and they said, well, just roll the top of the racetrack. See if you can get it to roll up there. It won't be quite as free coming up off. They're going in the right direction. Not where he wants it yet, but much better.
Well, Austin has yet to crack the top 10 under green flag conditions in this race.
And you know that's why that's significant. He has the best 1.5 mile average finish in the history of the division. And here he is. He qualified outside the top 10 for the first time this year on a 1.5 mile. He's just having a really rough go so far.
Sam Hornish has led the most laps in this race.
It just drives whatever it wants to do. It just goes wherever. Tight in the middle, loose off.
I think it just speaks volumes of the amount of pressure that's involved in trying to win a championship.
We even look ahead and throw that story at tomorrow, too.
Yep.
No guarantees. You
None
can
at all.
out there, and Jimmy Johnson said, you got to race for it all day.
Welcome back to the Homestead Miami Speedway as we're nearing the halfway point of the Ford EcoBoost 300. We just saw a lead change. Joey Logano going by Brad Keselowski for the lead. Here's a look at how it transpired. Logano in the 22 car diving toward the inside, takes a peek there, gets back in line behind Keselowski, but then he found some room on the outside, Rusty.
Yeah, he got some momentum on the outside. Joey Logano did. You see Keselowski just pull down, get out of his way. A big key battle going on right here between the 22 car and the 54 car behind Keselowski for the Owners' Championship. A big deal, guys.
As the race for the win is ongoing, the race for the championship has been a bit of a challenge for the guy who came in with the championship lead. Austin Dillon has had his handful all day long.
Austin Dillon's having a big problem right now. This car is not handling, and he's very, very close to starting to have to hit the panic button, in my opinion. This guy's all the way back, Brad, in 16th at the moment.
Yeah, he's really, really struggling. They just cannot get a handle or grip on this racetrack. They got a long ways to go, but they need to pick it up as quick as they can.
Meanwhile, Sam Hornish Jr., he started on the pole, led quite a few laps at the beginning of the race, and has run inside the top 5 most of the afternoon.
Done everything he needs to do. He's led 37 laps, been very, very strong, has stayed inside the top 5, seems to be consistently getting faster throughout his runs. He has put himself in position to win this championship, clearly taking care of business.
Now, still a long way to go, however, working lap number 86 now of 200 this afternoon. Welcome into the Quicken Loans ESPN Pit Studio, and certainly the story of the night is the championship. How would you assess the situation facing Austin Dillon right now? He still has a long way to go, but they need to dial that race car in, Ray.
Yeah, well, they're approaching halfway. I mean, this race is fairly short racing. You've seen them have that car on pit road twice now, put a spring rubber in the left rear. They put wedge in, track bar down, did a lot of different things. It seems like they're struggling with that car, and judging by the in-car camera, he's done a pretty amazing job just not hitting anything with it. On the other hand, Sam Hornish has been, perfect, and he's got his teammates up front to gather information from, too. And I think that may be hurting Austin Dillon because he doesn't really have a teammate to rely on today.
Well, right now, they have time to get this car fixed back right. Austin Dillon I'm talking about. And, Mike, one thing that might be getting ready to happen right now is the changing track conditions. These guys started during the day. This race is going to end at night. It's starting to cool down outside here in Homestead Speedway. That could help that car right there, the 3 car, because right now, as we speak, they are in trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that team responds to the changing conditions. Time now to go back upstairs and Alan Bestwick.
All right, Mike, thanks. Watching Sam Hornish running in 4th position with Matt Kenseth right behind him, trying to find a way around to take that over. And for Sam, DJ, you talked earlier about the race at Phoenix last week, where they struggled with an ill-handling car and struggled, and then Greg Irwin made a call to leave Sam out on the racetrack, and they didn't lose as he loses that spot. They lost some positions after the restart, but not back to where they would have been running had they pitted. A call you think might have been season-saving.
Could have been, yeah, if they go on and win this championship, they can look back on that and say that's what did it. I mean, obviously it's a long season and a lot of things happen, but they were not going to have the opportunity if they finished where they were running, which was outside the top 10. They were going to lose too many points, regardless of what would happen here today. So it may take something like that from this 3 car here today, tonight. And I like Rusty's point. They better hope that this track cooling down is going to benefit them, because they've made a lot of adjustments that really haven't benefited them at all yet.
Sam running right now in 5th. Fending off Kyle Larson for that spot for the moment. And I love watching the night races, the clear shield, and look at that driver's focus in that corner.
With these racetracks like this one, that's slick and it loses so much grip. Nobody's car is driving good. You're not going to hear comments from guys saying, oh yeah, my car is perfect. They're not happy even if they're leading the race. Their car is sliding all over the place.
I was actually talking to Drew Herring before the race, who's doing a nice job up in the 10th spot right now. But he was talking about that, he said his car didn't feel good at all in practice. He said, but I go look at the times and everything, and I'm not really that bad. He said, so they're trying to tell me it's a level of whose car's not as bad as someone else's. And he said, I have to understand that throughout this evening.
Well, Sam Hornish hanging in 5th place. Austin Dillon back in 16th place while Joey Logano is leading the Ford EcoBoost 300. Don't forget, NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy has enhanced coverage today from Homestead with 10 HD live race views, live chat, and live leaderboard. Joey Logano leading the Ford EcoBoost 300 in his Mustang by 2.7 seconds. Trouble. Debris, turn number 3, just called in to race control. Yellow flag number 4 just before the set of green flag pit stops were going to happen for these leaders.
Yeah, again, that falls at a good time for these teams to get down pit road, get 4 tires. They were just getting ready to do it under green.
4 tires and some adjustments for some.
Austin Dillon still not making any headway to the front.
It just swings. As soon as I unload the car, it swings the rear around.
Talk about making an already pressure-packed situation even more volatile is when you have that championship lead and your car just doesn't do what you want it to do.
Yeah, they've been adjusting on this thing, putting a lot of wedge in it, spring rubbers. And Danny Stockman's kind of running out of options. At least down the road he's going. He's got to come up with something.
Just amazing, because these 1.5 mile and 2 mile tracks have been their bread and butter.
So caution flag number 4, and the pit lane will be open here for the race leaders. Jeremy Clements is going to get the free pass under this caution. So there'll be 27 cars on the lead lap, and we're halfway through this race.
That could make a big difference late in the race too. These championships at stake.
Get that flat tire or make that wrong strategy call. Yep. Here they come. And to the pit lane and dock.
Sprint Cup Championship crew chief Paul Wolf actually calling the race for Brad Keselowski. Brad, left upper side of your screen said the car a touch too free in and off. They're going to do a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and get it full of Sunoco fuel. Jamie.
Kyle Larson saying his 32 machine's better on the long run, but overall tight. There's the wedge adjustment, 4 tires. Vince?
Logano is in, and so is Hornish. Hornish needs lateral stability. It's a 4-tire change, 2 rounds down on the track bar. Air pressure adjustment for Sam as well in the 12. Let's go back to Doc.
Well, the 3-car continues to struggle, guys. And what Austin Dillon said nothing I do in the car makes it react. I go in and try to put wheel in it. I get free on entry. The car goes up across the racetrack. I try to put more wheel in it, free on exit. I decided to make a major air pressure change and continue to try to tighten him up. Danny Stockman there, you can see him very much in thought about what they can do. He knows his driver right now in trouble. Alan?
Well, the bad news is their car's not handling very well. The good news is we're only halfway through this race, and an awful lot's going to happen in these last 150 miles.
Southern Cal, but they've come on here in the last 3 weeks.
Brad Keselowski going to go from 2nd to 7th on that pit stop. Here's why.
See the jack man letting the car down, loses his footing, goes down pretty hard. Makes a nice recovery though. I promise you that hurts.
So Brad back in 7th. Joey Logano held the lead on the pit stops. He's got Kyle Busch lined up to his inside for the restart.
Best restart I've seen out of Kyle Larson.
Not too shabby for Kyle Busch either. Got around Logano, got the lead.
Those Penske cars have pretty much had Kyle Busch surrounded. This is the best way for him to escape that, get the lead.
And remember, fighting for that team, that owner's championship, 54 and 22, running 1st and 2nd.
Man, did you see Brad Keselowski there? Pretty sideways off the corner. I don't know if it had him concerned, but it did me here.
I talked to Adam Stevens just after qualifying and asked him how he was going to race this 22 for that Owners Championship, and he said, basically, they're not going to race that 22. They know that for them to win this Owners title, they have to win the race. So they're going to concentrate on nothing but doing that. And they're probably going to have to beat the 22 to do it, but so they were not going to focus on this team.
One thing, this is kind of good for Sam Hornish right at the moment, is different ones taking this lead and leading for a while, but not getting up to that 37 laps that he's led, so if they can all kind of keep swapping it around a little bit, and he could get that bonus point, would certainly help his championship efforts.
If you're watching that Nationwide Series points line on the screen, you see that number changing quite a bit. Austin Dillon up to 11th place in the shuffle after the restart. Sam is running in 4th.
Yeah, that's not what you want to hear, because that could be a loose wheel after that pit stop. How about Matt Kenseth sliding that car off the corner?
Yeah.
A lot going on, boy. You got to have your head on swivel in this one.
Brad Keselowski trying to get that spot from Kenseth, make up a little bit of the lost ground with the Jackman slipped on the pit stop. Got him there. 3 and 7, Dillon and Regan Smith. That's for 11th and 12th places. Brad Sweet there in the 5 also. Smith taking a spot from Dillon there. That'll change that point tally, as you see. But again, that raised eyebrow at the moment with Sam Hornish saying he had a vibration after the pit stop. Following to see what happens there. Kyle Larson and Hornish racing for 3rd. Keselowski in that mix also. Sam trying to hang on to that top 5 spot for the moment, Vince.
And as you noted and heard the radio, the vibration that Sam reported, I just spoke with the tire changers for both on both ends of the 12 car. They both say they got them tight, so doesn't seem to be a lug nut issue on the 12, at least at this point. We're not quite sure what the situation might be.
Yeah, but for that crew chief, Greg Irwin, that's just not what you want to hear. It may even turn out to be okay, but it's definitely not doing much for his heart rate.
For the lead, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, the 2 teams racing for the Owners Championship. The gap that they started with coming into the race, if Logano runs 2nd, the only shot Kyle Busch has is to win the race.
And that's exactly what Adam Stevens told me. He said the only way we can outpoint that 22 team is to win. We know that.
Hornish giving up a spot to his teammate Keselowski. Sam back to 5th.
Yeah, and that's okay right now. Certainly at this stage of the race, 90 laps to go. He might want to have to battle a little bit harder to try to keep someone behind, especially a teammate, in that situation as these laps wind down.
Good fight for the lead.
How many times have we seen this all year long between these 2 teams, is what I should say, because the 22 cars had multiple drivers in it winning races for them.
One of these 2 teams, 22 or 54, has won 13 of the last 14 races in the Nationwide Series. What a stretch.
Just amazing at the effort that's put forth by these 2 organizations to keep these cars and these drivers up front on a regular basis and winning all of these races.
For now, Kyle Busch fending off Joey Logano for the race lead. And Sam Hornish running 5th. Austin Dillon running 12th. That was close. And still 87 laps to go in the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, the Ford EcoBoost 300.
Now, while they're fighting for this lead, Kyle Larson's chewing into the lead they have over him.
There he comes into the picture. High, wide, handsome.
You got to widen the picture out a little bit to catch him up next to that wall. He is up there.
Been up against the wall a couple times in this race in that 32 car, but obviously hasn't hurt it badly enough to slow it down.
I think the first time he hit it actually helped his car. Maybe the last couple of times it may have slowed it up a little bit, but not much.
You can see Logano fighting his car there as he was trying to get off the corner, though, but it's going to maybe cost him second place. He had to chase it up the track. About a story of Kyle Larson to go and win this. Started the season out, leaving his engine almost in the grandstand at Daytona.
A terrible crash coming to the checkered flag in the season opener. Now here he is fighting for the win in the season finale. Kyle Busch leading, Larson fighting with Logano for second. $80 laps to go in the Ford EcoBoost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Spin, turn 4. Brad Sweet.
Out here.
Caution flag is out.
Flat side of the right side of that car.
All right, take care of it if your tires are down there.
Brad was running in 16th place when things went sideways.
Yeah, he talked about risk and reward. You see him right up next to the wall here. He's trying to get all he can. Gets up into it.
Yeah, you can see there as he tried to power up, it just kind of lost the nose and get you up in, and then as you try to get off the wall.
Yeah, it looks like it's hard to get the car off the wall. It's like it almost sucks it into it. If you try to pull off the wall, it's just, you lose control.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of the trucks last night actually get into it, just kind of hang in the wall all the way around the corner.
Andy pit stops
this is
22 laps ago.
Yeah, this is a tough one right here because they're going to want to change tires. That's going to leave them with one set of tires in the pits, and they'll have to use them because they'll have to come back under green. They can't make it the rest of the way here.
So you're saying
Let's get 4 tires.
You're Sam, you're Danny Stockman for Austin.
Yeah.
You're going for a set of tires here.
Definitely go for
2 more rounds of wedge in the left rear. 2 more rounds of wedge in the left rear.
Interesting to see if somebody does try to stay out and save a set of tires, but it'll be difficult to keep up right now. Almost have to get tires this time.
Bet everybody pits here, but we'll see somebody try just fuel only. Make that gamble on having the extra set if you get that late caution.
That's what's going to be interesting to see how it works, because you lose a lot of speed, these tires do, after you put laps on them. It's like Brad stayed out.
Yep, 27 cars on the lead lap. Kligerman stays out also. But on the pit road is Doc.
And finally, Austin Dillon is better on entry, better on exit. Still needs a little more security on entries, and I'm now tight in the middle for the first time today. He'll make an air pressure adjustment. Going to put 4 tires. Got to get it completely full of Sunoco fuel. Trying to be flawless here in their stop. Vince.
It's a 4-tire change for Sam Hornish Jr. He says we got to do something. It just keeps getting freer and freer. Left side air pressure, rubber in the left rear spring, around down on the track bar. Sunoco fuel. It's getting away from Sam Hornish. They got to get a handle on it here.
Mike Kelly for Trevor Bayne went with that little gas and go strategy.
And you see right there the 12 and 3. The 12 lost 2 spots. Austin Dillon gained 2. They're nose to tail as they come off pit road.
So advantage there. Dillon had that lead on Hornish starting today. The plot continues to thicken. Homestead Miami Speedway, inviting you to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information as we get set for this restart. It'll be with 75 laps to go. Brad Keselowski, Parker Kligerman did not pit under the caution flag. Trevor Bayne got fuel only. He's running 3rd. Austin Dillon and Sam Hornish lined up side by side for this restart. And story behind the story, adjustments ongoing during the race.
And the 3 car's been, pretty bad in the beginning of the race. They took the time to make adjustments. You see the tire carrier there from the front has to handle both right side tires because the other guy is working on making the adjustments. This time, they're not making adjustments on the right side. A lot cleaner stop, and he gains 2 positions coming off the pit road.
So Austin Dillon still yet to run in the top 10 under the green flag in this race, but he's lined up 11th here for this restart. And more importantly for him, the guy that's been up front, his rival for the title, Sam Hornish, has come back to him in this last stretch of the race.
Wide.
Nervous minute if you're one of those championship guys in the middle of that. Parker Kligerman trying to hang on to the lead. They're inside of him and outside of him. Kyle Larson leads that lap.
The nervous part's over for Austin Dillon yet.
That was close right next to
him.
That was close. Oh, trouble. Kevin Swindell. A hard hit.
Sorry. We're in the fence on the backstretch.
Caution out, 6th time in the race. Kevin was running in 18th place. In the middle of all that 2 and 3 wide action from the restart.
It looked like there were quite a few opportunities for something to happen. Unfortunately, it was Kevin.
Yeah, it looks like 3 cars racing for position. Kind of gets stacked up. Swindell's one on the bottom. Under Brian Scott. Scott gets into the left rear, Drew Herring, just a little bit, and I'm sure that made his car go left. Swindell got into the left rear, and he goes around.
You can see Drew Herring wasn't all the way out against the wall there, and that kind of crowded everybody else. Not that he has to be out all the way against the wall, but it was leaving them not a lot of room to race off the corner then.
You see catching that one piece of that safer barrier. A good look at how that works. You can see the end of it.
Glad to see Kevin out of the car. Had a disappointing end to the race at Phoenix last Saturday, and a disappointing end to his season here today. Big talent, big future in this sport, but disappointing end to his 2013 season.
And Brian Scott's got a lot of damage from that too.
Yeah, I think when he corrected, he got into the outside wall through all of that.
Championship effort right there, 12. Nice job, Sam. Save me some gas, cool them tires down, buddy. Did exactly what you had to do. Nice job.
Yeah, he did a great job in that restart. He went from like 9th, I think it was, to 3rd or 4th in 1 lap.
Pretty impressive, yeah. That's how you get it done. Left his competitor in this championship battle back there battling in the middle a lot.
Well, certainly desire. The effort we saw at Phoenix last week from Sam, and that last restart shows he's not quitting on anything. Live, Homestead Miami Speedway, South Florida, the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, the Ford EcoBoost 300, just about 2/3 of the way through the race, and this last little stretch has had some really interesting action. Right now, Kyle Larson is leading. Sam Hornish is third. Austin Dillon is back in 11th, and Hornish leads the points, but barely. Kyle Busch back in 7th place, our in-race reporter for the day.
Hey, Kyle, Dale Jarrett, you have a minute to talk?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Looks like you've got a really good car, but some pretty wild racing looking from our vantage point.
Well, I'm glad you noticed the same thing. Doing what we can.
Racetrack change as things have cooled down here from your perspective with the handling of your race car?
I mean, the track's gone through a change here when the sun went down. Now it's nighttime, and you just kind of got to stay on top of it a little bit here. You know, I think it's going to free up. We've been freeing our car up because we've just been too tight. So just have to keep going with what we got here.
All right, man. Thanks for talking.
Kyle Busch running in 7th. Of course, he and the Gibbs 54 team fighting Roger Penske's 22 for the Owners' Championship right now. Advantage Penske as Joey Logano runs in the 2nd spot. Well, that last lap we saw, by the way, no, it's not a full moon. They told me what the term is for the one that I kind of waxing something, and I don't know how.
Pretty full to me. So, close enough. Saturday night.
Saturday night racing under the lights with a almost full moon. That last lap after that restart was pretty wild. Sam Hornish running from 9th to 3rd, while Austin Dillon hangs back in 11th.
To me, it just looks like momentum, Austin. I went up on right side air to try to take off better. Is it loose or tight, or?
It's just loose in to the middle. See if we can get the stretch and get it going here.
Have you tried putting any front brake in it like I talked to you about last year?
I got front brake in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things they can do. That front brake, what they're talking about, could help tighten the car up on entry if you can ride the brakes some. But this kind of racetrack, Dale, I'm not sure they're using a lot of brakes.
Shouldn't be. And you're talking about momentum. You don't want to be on the brake. You want to be able to drive the car off into the corner and let the car work itself. So that could be an issue for them. But that's the one thing I'm seeing Austin having a hard time racing around other cars and being as aggressive as he needs to be with this.
Richard Childress looking on. Grandson Austin Dillon back in 11th. Well, let's see if this lap's as wild as the first lap after that last green flag.
Sam Hornish with a big, huge run off the corner.
Joey Logano to the lead. Kyle Larson 2nd, Brad Keselowski 3rd, Elliott Sadler 4th, Hornish 5th, then this.
Oh, Whitten, that 44 doing a nice job up inside the top 10.
What that was with Matt Kenseth in that 18, if he got nudged or what there, but that car was dancing a little bit at the end of the backstretch. Remember, Kligerman 77 did not pit under the caution at lap 122 when a lot of others did. He and Brad Keselowski out there on older tires. Trevor Bayne also out there on older tires. Swing on that is we get a late caution. They might have an extra set to put on for a big run to the trophy.
Yes, a gamble that you take, having a set of tires when everyone else maybe doesn't. It'd be a huge advantage.
See Austin Dillon now using that high lane, getting a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that's the big run that you need. He had that momentum. You can see getting into the corner, getting a little more aggressive now. I think he's realized he's going to have to drive the wheels off of this thing.
Trying to get out of this squirrel, Dan.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to do. That'll get your attention. Things happen back there.
Put you in position for things to get crunched.
Yes, it does.
I'm watching Parker Kligerman in that 77. He's got like 23 lap older tires than the cars around him, doing a pretty good job holding on to it.
Justin Allgaier, 31. Just ahead of these two. Been pretty aggressive on the last couple of restarts.
And the same thing there with that 48 car, Brad Keselowski. He's got about 23 laps more on his tire.
So Allgaier to 5th, Kyle Busch to 6th, Brad Keselowski back to 7th with the 7 of Regan Smith behind him. Smith the winner of this race a year ago. Really going to be interesting to see if this race follows its usual pattern of a late caution. Last green run, 15 laps or less in 7 of the last 9 races here. So if we get a couple of quick cautions toward the end of this race, tires may turn out to be a big story in this in deciding the outcome of this one.
Yeah, and I keep looking and seeing how many cars still have 26 cars on the lead lap. You know, you talk about a flat tire, so it doesn't even have to be that. With that many cars there and in position, if you just get up against the wall and rub the wall and you have to just kind of limp around for the last few laps of this race, you can find yourself losing the championship that way.
Cole Whitt, 99 Blake Cook, 12th and 13th right behind, and now trying to get around Austin Dillon.
Yeah, and the thing that I would say with Austin Dillon in this, and it's nothing against Cole Whitt or Blake Cook right there, but these aren't drivers that he's been used to racing around. You're not used to their tendencies and what they may do. And of course, both of these drivers, Blake Cook and they're trying to make their mark, to get something that's shown to Cole Whitt. They're trying to get to where they can be seen and get a ride for next year, because neither one of them really know what they're going to do.
4th place, Allgaier, 31, trying to get around Hornish in the 12.
Yeah, Sam had a big gap there a while ago. That's kind of been a nice little cushion to where he could ride and take care of his car and in a pretty good spot. But that's certainly closed up quite a bit. Allgaier and Kyle Busch coming.
This 31 car kind of showing a similar pattern to last Saturday's race in Phoenix. Completely different track, but 31 wasn't much to look for in the opening part of the race. And then in the late going, a little strategy call and some tuning up on that race car, and Allgaier came through to finish 2nd.
Yeah, it's been a good race for both him and Larson teammates. I'm sure that they're running similar setups, both of them up front.
Hornish 4th, Dillon 11th, and a championship that is just so close. 1 point between the top 2. About 3/4 of the way through today's Ford EcoBoost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Austin Dillon, as we went to break. Oh, trouble. Parker Kligerman.
Caution, caution. Keep it off the wall, babe. Good job.
Who had just scraped the wall in the 77 and was struggling with that car. Now spins and brings out the caution flag with 52 laps to go. So, starting to say, we were on board with Austin Dillon and Sam Hornish when we went to the break, and you saw Dillon's hands get really, really busy. Well, here's what happened. Watch this.
We got in the wall and had to just completely check up. You can see Blake Cook get into the back of him. I thought he was going to go around here.
Just hear how hard he was into that. I tell you, Blake Cook did a good job of not hitting him any harder than he did of really paying attention.
So there's Parker Kligerman getting into the wall, and then as he was limping around slowly trying to come back to the pits, looks like that right rear might be flat on that car.
Yeah, I believe it was, Alan.
Remember that Kligerman did not pit at lap 122, and those tires had been on there for some time.
Yeah, this is really kind of the scenario that a lot of these drivers didn't want. They'd like to get tires now, but they can't come get that last set.
Yeah, this is about the worst case scenario. Here's the problem. They can make it on fuel from here. So they almost have to come down and get tires. This is a really difficult choice, and there's going to be some gamblers here. You almost have to come in and get fuel.
If you're the 12, can you do that?
See, 12's running 4th. You can make it when you can make it from here. You have to pit.
You pit, you take on the tires,
you take them on.
See how the end of the race plays.
And then you just play it out.
Remember, there's only 3 teams that'll have that extra set of tires if everybody changes here.
Yeah, 48 car Brad Keselowski has a couple of sets.
Trevor Bayne, and then the car that just spun, Parker Kligerman. Here they are, 50 laps to go. Doc?
Austin Dillon says the contact with the wall a moment ago actually helped the car. He said, I still have no side bite, and I am free up off. They're going to take a round out of the right rear, go ahead and use their final set of sticker tires here. Make sure to slide air pressure adjustment and get it full of Sunoco fuel. Vince.
You see Logano pulling away, and his teammate Sam Hornish Jr. said he got a lot better on that run. Greg Irwin, the crew chief, still called for left side air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, cleaning off the grill. Hornish likes the car right now. They're close.
Interesting choice of strategy here.
Yeah, there's your gamblers. Didn't take tires. You see, he had to get fuel at this point. Hornish loses 5 spots getting his 4 tire.
Huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh. The plot twists again.
The Ford EcoBoost.
Doubled up for the restart with 47 what will be laps to go in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Here's the simple part of the strategy equation that's just been played out. The top 2 guys racing for the championship did the same thing. Up to speed with Nationwide Insurance, here's Doc.
A discussion whether they would put those last set of sticker tires on the 3 car, that because the 12 car was going to put 4 on, they went ahead and put the final set on the 3 car. Slight chassis change in the right rear and air pressure. They said, you got what you got, young man. Now you go out and win a championship. Vince.
Well, they just told Sam Hornish he's the 3rd car on fresh tires. The 32 and the 54 also have 4. No more stickers for Sam Hornish Jr. The only thing they've got left, they've re-glued a set that had 20 laps on them, so that's all that Hornish has got. He knows he's got to open up the eyes and get up on it right here, as they've just told him, get it on this restart.
Top 2 in line. Travis Pastrana, Ty Dillon did not pit. Several others on older tires in and around them, plus these championship guys. Sort it all out after we race a lap or 2 and see how crazy this gets.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy.
Oh, trouble. Brad Sweet in the wall. Dillon gets by.
Hold it up. You're looking for the
Caution.
92.
Brad Sweet, one of 6 drivers who took fuel only on that pit stop, so they were out there on older tires. The guys on the fresher tires with better grip and more speed trying to find a way through in a hurry, and it got kind of tight and out of control off turn 2.
Yeah, here's Brad Sweet. Well, he's right in the middle of the hornet's nest.
Yeah, and there's Sam Hornish as a part of that. So he's just looking for somewhere to go. A little help there.
Yeah, actually got quite a bit of help. Looks like he got a little bit free, a little loose.
Yeah, he had to check up.
Yeah, he had to check up just a bit. And Allgaier got into him and then got into him again and sent him around.
And Austin Dillon right behind that.
Wow, he was.
Swerving to the inside and somehow avoiding.
That was some quick reactions by Austin Dillon.
Now come on a net. Come on, Sweet, go. 3 wide, 3.
Oh, this ought to be an interesting shot right here. Watch this move.
Watch the 5. 5's in the wall, low. Come on. Caution's out. Keep coming. No caution yet. No caution.
That's when you see a whole year's worth of hard work and efforts getting ready to go by the wayside. But nice job of driving by that young man.
And that's hard. That's a hard move to pull off and not overturn the car and lose it.
And somehow have the room to your left, because he didn't look, I guarantee.
Don't have time for that at that point.
No signal, no nothing.
Yeah. No, didn't put the blinker on.
That happens a lot down here in Florida, though, if you've noticed.
I have, actually.
Okay, here's Austin Dillon.
Oh, he's up all the way up on the high side as a part of all of this happening. So it's happening right in front of him. See Trevor Bayne right there.
Wow, that was close.
Big moment. Austin Dillon still in the fight.
Absolutely.
The accident with contact begun, but Brad Sweet was nudged a little bit by Justin Allgaier.
He drove up and doored me, and I had a run on him, and then he pulled in front of me, and I just couldn't get checked up. If you want to block, that's what's going to happen. It's simple.
So the view on that one from the 31 end spotter. And remember again, Brad Sweet on older tires did not change tires on that last caution flag.
Yeah, that's the problem with that strategy. If you're, you know, up in front of a lot of fast cars, that is a very likely scenario. You're going to get turned around by faster ones trying to get by.
So caution out, 44 laps to go, and a very eventful finale for the Nationwide Series so far, Mike.
Indeed, it has been, and certainly if you're one of the championship contenders this evening, you have seen quite a few things, especially if you're Austin Dillon. How's he handled it, in your opinion?
He's handled it pretty good right now. They got a little rattled earlier, I thought, Mike, but the guy's been doing a really good job working on that number 3 car, tightening that thing up, trying to get the handle in better, and right now they got 4 tires on that baby, just like Hornets has got. This is going to be the drive of Austin Dillon's life right now. He's got to get it done because they're running out of time.
Yeah, they're definitely running out of time, and we're going to really see how well this car is balanced once we get through this next restart. If we get through the next restart, I think it's treacherous right now, and those guys have to survive these restarts.
And I think Austin Dillon's car is getting a little bit better, and Sam's car may be coming back to him. I'm pretty impressed with the job that Austin Dillon and his team has done keeping that car in the hunt, and they just got on the same tire strategy as Sam Hornish, so they've just got to stay close to Sam. Sam's got to get to the front and get out positions on them and get back in the lead, where Austin's just got to stay within a few points of Sam. So pretty interesting race.
Still 44 laps remaining to decide this championship. What do you think it's like for these guys behind the wheel right now?
Oh, they're so nervous, it's unreal, Mike. I mean, they don't want to make mistakes. And we've been watching Sam Hornish have some incredible restarts, doing really good. Austin Dillon, not so much so. Austin's going to have to get up on the wheel on these restarts, but they're both a box of nerves right now. There is no doubt about that. 43 laps to go. Minutes are winding down. These are big, big moments for both of these young men's career. Sam Hornish, we documented him. This could be the second championship for Austin Dillon if he can get right the ship and get it going, but very, 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 very nervous.
So far, Sam's done everything he needs to do, and Austin has survived. If he wins this championship, he's going to remember Blake Cook getting into the back end of him over there and him saving that race car. He has done everything he needs to do except for have the car he needs to compete. That may change.
There's still lots to play out in this race, Alan. Certainly strategy will play a very large role.
Yeah, and let's detail that a little bit. Andy, we talked about already these two, Hornish and Dillon, being on the same strategy. So whatever happens to one is going to happen to the other.
That's right. And this is the point where you do actually just race your competitor, because they don't need to worry about anything else. I mean, Sam has to go out there and get all the spots he can. He knows what he has to do. But if you're the 3 car, you just have to race this 12 car, and they're both on the same strategy. So even if other guys have tires left over and they get them late in the race and everybody goes, you know, crazy at the end, they still have to race each other.
Now, on the other side of the coin, for the Owners' Championship and for the win in the race, different pit strategies played by Penske for the 22 and Joey Logano, and Joe Gibbs for the 54 and Kyle Busch. Logano's team didn't change tires on that last stop, but if the late caution comes out, and we've sure seen evidence that's likely in this one, they've got an upper hand.
They do have that upper hand, and of course we've got a lot of cars still in the lead lap, so how many will they have to pass? The other thing is, when you look at, go back to the other side of that, Austin Dillon and Sam Hornish, how many can Sam, of those that may come in late and get tires, could get in between the 3 and the 12 there?
I think that's a good point what you bring up. There's so many cars in the lead lap, and there's just a few guys that do have that extra set of tires. They'll have to line up behind a lot of cars, and the more cautions we have, guess what? More cars on the lead lap. They keep putting them back on the lead lap, and it'll be tough to pass those, especially if it's a short run.
So as they run, the Owners' Championship, 4 points between Logano and Kyle Busch, Penske and Gibbs, and the Drivers' Championship, Sam Hornish leading Austin Dillon by 4 points. Sam is running 7th. Dillon is running back in 17th and wanting to know what's the score.
Okay, Austin, we're looking at it again right here. Looks like we need about 5 spots. About 5 spots right here. 4.
Spotter telling Austin Dillon, what's the circumstance?
Yeah, there'll be 4 wide, so if you can pass 4 of them at once down there, you'll be most of it gone.
Ty Dillon, 33, Austin's brother, leading this race. One of the guys that didn't pit on the caution back at lap 150. Kyle Larson through to the lead. Austin Dillon trying to get some of those spots. Remember, Logano in that 22, just fuel only on the stop, needs the race to have another caution for that advantage to swing back in his favor, losing some ground now.
And even with that caution, I think it's going to be tough for this 22.
Yeah, it's going to be. And I tell you, I think if this race happens to go green, I believe that's going to benefit Austin Dillon greatly, because a lot of those cars that only took fuel have older tires. They're going to be falling back, and Austin Dillon can pass them and close that gap on Sam Hornish.
As far as the Owners' Championship, I do believe at this point the momentum has swung in favor of the 54, because I think this is going to be hard for the 22 team to make the strategy work.
Joey Logano in 9th. Trevor Bayne challenging there. Austin Dillon. Got to take advantage of the fresher tires. Got to get by Logano.
I actually think he can be a little bit on the patient side, save his tires a little bit right now, get in here in a solid effort, because there's going to be a number of cars that those tires are going to wear, and they're going to be slipping and sliding a lot more than what Austin Dillon will. So he doesn't have to make it happen right now at this moment.
Yeah, that 7 car just ahead of them does not have tires either. There's 2 cars he should be able to pass.
Not missing anything up front. Kyle Larson leading Kyle Busch, with Sam Hornish 3rd and Brad Keselowski 4th. This is Dillon trying to pass Smith and Logano for 8th and 9th.
We'll try to run the top here, make block to the bottom.
There is 1 point, as you see, between Hornish and Dillon. Reminder that Hornish has the tiebreaker. He has a win earlier this season at Las Vegas. Dillon has yet to go to victory lane this year. By the way, speaking of ties, Hornish and Joey Logano have led the exact same number of laps in this race to this point. Kyle Busch still has a chance to overtake them for most laps led. Kyle Larson does too. But if they finish with a tie for most laps led, they each get a bonus point. That bonus point that goes to the one that leads the most laps, they each get 1. Kyle Busch trying to fix that in his favor.
Thought we were going to get a half a point, make a half a point difference in this race, which could be enough to win.
So 34 to go. Kyle's got to lead another 10 to take over that spot. And again, in that tight fight for that Owners Championship. And the 22 still having those fresh tires sitting in their pit stall. Should a caution come out, that point might be valuable.
Right now, though, the Drivers' Championship is tied. I see this thing playing out. I think it goes green. This 32 car is going to have the best shot at winning. He's had the best car in a long run. I think he can hang close enough to Kyle Busch that he can pass him.
Yeah, I think they've made Sam Hornish's car a lot better than what it was when things started cooling down. See a big run here. Kyle Larson's going to take this and make the slide job work, go back to the front.
New leader Kyle Larson, but for how long?
Whoa, Sam Hornish into the wall a little bit back there.
I'll tell you another car, though.
Food, Big Daddy.
Don't want to forget about that 48 of Brad Keselowski. He got tires and restarted way back in the field, and he's driven all the way up inside the top 4.
About Sam having a fast car. They've got it better. It's like he tries to get to the gas pretty hard right there and drives it straight into the wall. Not much damage there, though.
Fairly light contact.
So Sam running third, challenged here by his Penske teammate Brad Keselowski.
Brad in a tough spot there as a driver.
Yes.
You know he's a competitor, but he knows his teammate there is racing for a championship. He also knows that if he could pass him and go up and pass the 54, he's helping his other teammate for a championship that he would be helping with throughout the year with his wins.
Complex.
Don't look at me. I don't know what I'd do.
Oscar Bay, what's the story on the 3-car RP? Are we clear to race or not?
Brad Keselowski looking for...
Got to get by the 12 unless he lets me go.
Looking for some guidance as Austin Dillon races Parker Kligerman for 9th place. Yes, there's no gap between those two drivers, Hornish and Dillon, in that graphic top of the screen. They are tied for the moment for the championship with 28 laps left in the season. Now that'll kick Dillon a point behind as Kligerman goes by. Hornish runs third. Dillon now back in 10th. Dave?
Before that pass, Alan, they told Austin that he only needed one spot, and that one spot was the teammate of the 12, Joey Logano, so he would have been hard to pass. Now he's got to get around 2 unless Stam starts coming back.
So right now, the best situation for the 48 is to try to pass Hornish and go up there and pass Kyle Busch. Because if he passes Hornish, they're still tied. Hornish gets the tiebreaker.
Just joining us, we're at Homestead Miami Speedway in South Florida in the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, and we're in the final 50 miles of it, a championship that hangs in the balance by one position either way on the racetrack. Austin Dillon led the points starting the day over Sam Hornish Jr. That's Sam in the yellow 12 owned by Roger Penske. He's running in 3rd place. Dillon in the black number 3 owned by his grandfather Richard Childress is running back in 10th position now. 1 point per position by the NASCAR Championship scoring system, so one pass forward or back can swing the balance on the championship in these final 25 laps. Hornish owns the tiebreaker by more wins.
Yeah, and the one thing that Sam Hornish has that's working against him right now is Kyle Larson is on pace right now as he continues to lead to take a point away from him by leading the most laps, because that's in his total right now, which would effectively make them tied.
NASCAR scoring system, a bonus point to the driver that leads the most laps in a race. Right now, Logano and Hornish tied for that mark, but Kyle Larson, as you see there, within a few laps, 4 now, of taking command of that precious point.
Yeah. How about Kyle Larson up leading this race? You know, we've been talking about him all year, wondering when they was going to get that breakthrough, put that entire race together. We've seen flashes of really brilliance and great control of his race car.
Yeah, but I
Can he
tell you
hang
what,
on here?
as close as he's running to that wall, there's quite a few laps left still. Still got to keep focus.
The 21-year-old from Northern California headed to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series next season. For now, trying to finish up his freshman campaign in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, where he's been very close. Finished second in a couple of the closest finishes of the season, but yet to take home the trophy with a trip to victory lane. Trouble, turn number 2, got a car around.
Caution, hold it.
Caution is out. And this changes the picture greatly.
Yeah, he just got into the wall off of turn 4. Alan, you saw me pointing. I was just looking at that, and he got into the wall pretty hard off of turn 4.
Yeah, I think what happened was he cut that right rear tire down. He made such contact with the wall.
Justin Allgaier running in 7th. And brings out the yellow flag with 22 to go.
Yeah, it looked like he was just pushing things, and you're probably right. He was up against that wall a long time there. This says as he got over on turn 2. See if that right rear's down.
Hard to tell from that angle, but I almost have to assume it was.
I get a good look at it next time by. Still there.
Yeah.
All clear.
You can see him battling this car here.
Going down. Ready for you. Spinning. We're going to get a caution. Hold it down. We'll get a caution. We don't want to get laps, so spin it around.
Well, they did get the caution, and Allgaier has been on pit road to get that flat tire changed. He'll have to start at the back of the line because the pit road not open yet when he made the pit stop. It's going to be open here, and this should bring Joey Logano and a few others onto the pit lane for a set of tires.
And in Keselowski, he had tires left also, but he also had decent tires on his car. But he's coming in for another set.
Jamie?
Paul Wolf calling the shots for Brad Keselowski, his same crew chief from the Cup Series. They saved a set of sticker tires earlier in the race. A tear off over there. They'll put the Ford tires on, and they want to make it hard for him, Vince.
Well, the 22 of Joey Logano is still loose in and loose off. Been fighting that throughout the course of the day. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, 4 tires, a couple of gallons of Sunoco fuel, hoping to give Logano the stability he needs to get this Owners' Championship for Roger Penske.
Brad Keselowski will be the first off the pit lane. And with 26 cars on the lead lap, we'll see where these guys shake out for the restart order. Sam Hornish and Austin Dillon on the same strategy. That shuffle of running position picks Dillon all the way up to 6th place and swings the championship pendulum back in his favor for now. 2 drivers racing for 1 championship trophy in the final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season here at Homestead Miami Speedway in South Florida. For much of the race, it's been a struggle for Austin Dillon, but a series of caution flags and a variety of strategies have just gained the 3-car a lot of ground on his rival for the championship as we come down to the final 18 laps. It's Hornish running 3rd, and now Dillon running 6th in the Ford EcoBoost 300, and that plus the fact that Kyle Larson has just taken over that bonus point for leading the most laps puts the gap at 4 between Dillon and Hornish as we get set for the frantic scramble to the finish. However, lurking just a little bit behind them, drivers who just took fresh tires on this pit stop and who will be charging in a hurry, headed by Brad Keselowski, who's in 13th place. He, Trevor Bayne, Regan Smith, Parker Kligerman, Joey Logano, Elliott Sadler, all going to be trying to gain as much ground as quickly as they can right here. with a move inside of Hornish. While Hornish tries to clear Matt Kenseth for third. Trouble, turn 4. Regan Smith into the wall. Jeremy Clements. Mike Wallace also with a piece of that crash. Sure that conversation's about Yoke.
Yeah, I believe Regan Smith made a mistake right there.
Yeah, it's like maybe a little miscalculation as to whether he was clear there or not. They exited turn 4 as they were all racing hard.
Yeah, Regan's hurt a little bit too. Pretty hard lick.
Yeah, for sure. Cleanup's going to take a while. Who does that benefit in our championship battles?
Doesn't help the guys that got the fresher tires there a minute ago, does it?
Not as much, for sure.
I think the caution was a break. I think they needed a caution. The guys had the fresh tires to catch up, but if it runs the laps out too much, then they're not going to be able to use them. It looked to me like the guys that had fresh tires, if it went green, they were not going to be able to get to the front. As you can see, here's the 7. He's coming up on these guys really fast. They're slower cars without tires. He's got tires. I'm sure he, had this big run, thought he had them cleared. Just not quite. That's a really hard lick for Regan Smith. Too bad for Jeremy Clements, too, and Mike Wallace. Having a lead lap run and getting taken out at this close to the end. Pretty tough.
And this is a spot as a driver. You've got those fresh tires. You've got a big run. You're going more off of feel in that situation than what you are a spotter clearing you or anything like that. You think that you have the momentum that gets you by there, and Regan's just letting his car go out to the wall to continue that speed that he has.
You did good.
Justin Allgaier trying to stay in the top 5 in points. Top 5 get on the stage at the banquet Monday night here in South Florida. He was just in that spin earlier, just missed that mess there. And a lot of cleanup to be done on this front stretch. That is NASCAR taking the field of cars down the pit lane to give the cleanup and safety workers all the room they need on the front stretch.
And that's Mike Wallace's car right there. He was involved with the wreck.
He's trying to turn into the opening to go back into the Nationwide Series garage. So caution out, 15 laps to go. Sam Hornish running 3rd. Now Austin Dillon running in 5th.
I know. I just want to tell you what I'm thinking here. We just got to be careful of checking up, Andy, because when we check up, we lose so much momentum. We get freight trained on these restarts. Yeah, 10-4, bud. I'm with you on all that.
Andy being Andy Houston, the spotter up on top of the grandstand.
And Andy's not just a spotter. He's a real coach for Austin Dillon. He's a former race car driver too. He's a good eye to have up on that roof.
Well, for a lot of this race, this looked really bleak for Austin Dillon, and they stuck with it, and kept working on the race car, and then some circumstances and strategies played by others have put them back in position for this championship.
Yeah, kind of like the race last week at Phoenix for Sam Hornish and his team, that they kept battling, looked like they were going to lose a lot of points and not even have a chance when they came here. But same way with Austin Dillon and his team, keep battling. But I'm telling you, depending on how many laps they have here, how many of these cars with 4 tires are going to be able to get between them, or is Austin's car good enough to hang with Sam Hornish this time?
Well, if any news might play in the hands of Sam Hornish, it's that 2 of those cars with fresh tires are his Penske Racing teammates. And we check downstairs with Vince.
And I'm with crew chief Greg Irwin for Sam Hornish Jr. First of all, Greg, you've taken a couple of pretty big swings at this race car. How is the car handling for Sam right now?
The last 2 runs seem to be much better. Our Alliance Truck Parts Mustang been in the top 5 all night. We can't ask any more out of Sam or our race car. We've been watching, obviously, the progress the 3's made. Kind of closed the gap on us here a little bit. We're both on a little bit older tire strategy right now. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, there's a bunch of guys with tires here behind the 3. Maybe they can get to them, get us a little breathing room. But overall, the fans are seeing a heck of a race. Nationwide Insurance doing everything they do for us for putting these races on and putting people in the seats. And this is what it's all about. Come down to the last race of the season.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, really, when you think about it, Andy, Greg Irwin's done everything he can do.
Yep, it's up to Sam and Austin right now.
Now it's up to circumstances and how the rest of the race should play out. Just a thought on my part, we're not done with the caution flag yet.
I was just thinking, it's all about that restart. And there's, you know, they're just crazy. The way the cars are going everywhere. There's so many guys on different tire strategies. We saw what just happened right there. I'm not sure we've seen the last of it.
Yeah, and I'll go back about 24 hours ago, not quite 24 hours ago, to the truck race, though. They used all 3 of their green-white checkers to get it done.
Yep, and again, I don't think we're done seeing the yellow flag here. Pretty interesting twist of plot in this one, and a fascinating day where this championship is concerned and still yet to be decided, and we'll see what we get tomorrow when the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup comes to an end. Jimmie Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, the 3 fighting for the championship. Jimmie with a sizable lead coming in, but Matt starting on the pole, and all 3 of them qualified well. Should be a fascinating day tomorrow, the Ford EcoBoost 400 ESPN, starting with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern Time. Some great stuff on Countdown, too. Mark Martin's last race, Trevor Bayne, an in-depth conversation with Trevor, and so much more, plus a fascinating look at the drivers involved in this championship, and Jimmie Johnson, what makes he and his team so good for so long. Now, though, still got this one to decide. You're Austin Dillon. What are you thinking about inside that race car right now?
I think the biggest thing is trying to stay as close to that rear bumper of that 12 car as I possibly can. You just have to drive the last 8 or 10 laps of your life right here to make that happen. There's going to be faster cars coming, but you have to stay as close to this 12 as possible to make them pass both of you.
Yeah, I think both of the teams have done a good job. Danny Stockman with the 3 car, they've been able to adjust a really bad handling race car, and they've done a good job with it. Now they're up there where they need to be, and it's just up to the drivers. So these crew chiefs can just sit up there and cheerlead at this point.
And I'll give one additional factor to you. It's up to the drivers and fate, because there are a bunch of other people around them that want to win this race, are racing for an owner's championship, have fresher tires, and can get up there and get positions away from Austin Dillon and help perhaps their teammate just by racing hard in these last laps. It's really up to circumstance as well as what the drivers can do.
Yeah, and you know, Sam Hornish, if he could possibly do it, if he's going to try to win this, he's got to try to win this race, figure out a way to get by the 2 cars in front of him, Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, as they battle for this win too. And you know, that could certainly gain him more points than anything else happening.
All right, pit road open here for the lead lap cars. They finally finished most of the cleanup down this front stretch. As you see the lap counter continuing to tick down toward 0. So what a contrast in stories for these 2 drivers as they come down to these final 10 laps of their season. Austin Dillon, the 23-year-old grandson of NASCAR legend Richard Childress, used to playing on a big stage from a young age, like the Little League World Series.
That's a big deal.
Yep. And been involved in this sport and around this sport his entire life. NASCAR's Camping World Truck Series champ a couple of years ago, and now looking for the Nationwide Series champ. Complete opposite end of the spectrum, Sam Hornish made his fame and his name in open wheel racing. The 3-time champion of the Eyes on IndyCar Series and the 2006 winner of the Indianapolis 500. Came to NASCAR, had his struggles, stepped back into this Nationwide Series to reestablish himself and get up front and contend to win races again and win a championship. though Sam looks toward his future with a great deal of uncertainty. At the end of today's race, as yet does not have a ride lined up for next season. Roger Penske has said he hopes to find sponsorship to continue with Sam, but for the moment, these last 12 laps of this season are all Sam Hornish knows about his racing future, while it's widely rumored that Austin Dillon is going to the NASCAR Sprint Cup level, driving that famous number 3, likely for his grandfather, Richard Childress. How's it going to play out? Probably going to go racing with 10 laps to go. Can Austin make Pop proud, or will the captain be done well by Sam? He'll be able to see him because he's going to be right behind him on the restart.
Right on his bumper. And Sam Hornish is not going to lead the most laps. Kyle Larson's getting ready to wrap that up here in just a minute.
Well, we heard from Austin. How about Sam?
Yeah, maybe, you know, if it goes extended innings here, maybe you'll have less than 10 to go, so it'll be real close, buddy. 10 more. Either way, the win's worth 3. Oh man, we're gonna go for that. I just wondered.
Yeah, they were obviously talking about the possibility of being able to lead the most laps, but now that's gone.
If we don't run extra laps.
Yes.
Well, going to go racing with 8 laps to go. Based on what I heard from Sam Hornish right there, expecting him to be looking 3 wide here in that first corner for the lead.
I would say if he's got any opening whatsoever, but he seems to really like his car on the bottom on these restarts. He gets a huge run off of turn 2. That might be where he tries to make that move and make it 3 wide into 3.
And perhaps Sam's best friends in this might be his Penske teammates in that outside lane. Brad Keselowski, 48, Joey Logano, 22, do have fresher tires than a lot of the cars in front of them. And if they can get up there and get between, maybe they can.
Well, they'll be their best friend until they get to Sam Hornish, and then they have to do something there.
Yeah, and the one thing that kind of hurt those is that start and stop on it. The tires, even though they're better, is still not as good once they've got that cycle. So it's not like that they have the huge advantage they had when those tires were sticker tires.
Here's the problem for those 2 guys. The number of laps is going to continue to wind down here because they've waved off the restart, have brought some cleanup trucks back out onto this front stretch, and are still continuing to address the aftermath of the accident between Regan Smith, Jeremy Clements, and Mike Wallace off of turn number 4.
Yeah, I think from Regan Smith's car, that got the oil cooler, and then you can see that outside lane there, or the lane up against the wall, was a lot of oil put down.
Having a look at that situation and trying to see if they need to put some more oil dry down or if we're going to be able to go racing this time by. They did give the field the 1 to go signal.
Be interesting to see Kyle Larson. He's chosen this outside, which I expected. That's where he's run most of the day. But that's where all the oil and oil dry was put down. Well, he tried to move Kyle Busch down a little bit to make this start a little bit lower than what it normally would. You don't want to be spinning your tires on that outside lane and all the oil not gone.
Yeah, you're right. All that speedy dry is right in that zone where they're going to be getting on the throttle in 2nd gear. Easy to spin the tires right there. You have to find some good, clean racetrack.
Not
somebody
going
does.
racing this time, by the way.
Great. You know, somebody spins the tires up front, it can pile the whole field up.
A lot can happen from that point. Andy, do they have anywhere that we had a lot of caution here, though? No worries with anybody with fuel?
I don't think so. I think all that's out the window by the amount of caution laps. I think fuel's fine, even if we do get the green, white checker.
Only thing I'm just thinking is you're behind the wheel. All right, 1 to go. I'm getting ready. I'm going through. So you have a routine before you restart, right?
Yeah.
Wave it off.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 to go. All right. Wave it off. All right, we're going to go. No, wave. And, you know, for these guys involved in this championship, talk about prolonging the agony.
Yeah, by then the belts are so tight you can barely breathe.
No, they're getting 1 to go again.
1 to go again, I think.
You've been in this situation before. You're gripping that wheel really tight. Your heart pounding harder.
Yeah, you can feel it. I mean, almost jumping out of your chest. And you got right now. You're trying to not grip the steering wheel. You're just trying to relax yourself as much as possible. But it is a tense moment, and you know the restart is just going to be wild too. On top of that, and your whole season, your career could be right here.
Pace cars in turn 2, and they still have people out here on the front straightaway trying to clean this racetrack up.
Yeah, I can't see this happening.
Wow.
That's a lot of speedy drive.
Hindsight's always easy.
Yeah, red flag might have been in order quite a while back.
Yeah, I don't think they foresaw this delay.
Tough call.
Yeah, it is a tough call.
Not going racing. Well, Vince, I know they want to see how this is going to turn out. They're going to have to wait another couple of minutes.
Well, and the 12 team, particularly crew chief Greg Irwin, was suggesting a red flag 3 to 4 laps ago because of the long cleanup. You see him smiling on the outside. I guarantee you he is not smiling on the inside as these laps under yellow continue to tick away. Certainly does not play in the favor of his driver, Sam Hornish Jr. Dave?
For Austin Dillon, he's been getting counsel from Danny Stockman, counsel from Pop. The main thing that Stockman told him that he wanted him to be cognizant of was momentum on the restart. He said it's going to be all about momentum, buddy. He wants to make sure he's rolling when we do go green.
Well, 1 to go signal given again, and like we talked about a little while ago, for a lot of this race, it looked like Austin Dillon was in a lot of trouble. Car that just was not handling.
No, it started off with a really loose car. You can see turning right more than left at times here. They made a lot of adjustments on it.
And perhaps smartly, most smartly from Danny Stockman, he just kept his car on the same pit strategy as his rival for the championship, something you get the luxury of by having that point lead start the day.
Yep, that's the only thing he could do, and he's done a good job of that. He's also done a good job of getting the car adjusted. And look at Dillon. Good job dodging trouble.
Couple times. And while for much of this race, Austin Dillon had not even run in the top 10 under the green flag, now he finds himself running in 5th position. While Sam Hornish has been up front for most all of this race, and in fact, until a little while ago, was tied for the most laps led in it. Now Sam is 3rd and Austin is 5th.
We'll have to watch this 32 as he tries to get going on this restart. We know he wants to win, get that first nationwide win before he moves on into the Cup Series full time.
So Kyle Larson 32 with Kyle Busch to his inside. Sam Hornish inside of row 2, Austin Dillon inside of row 3. The guys with fresher tires trying to make the late charge are going to come from 11th place on back. That's the furthest forward of them, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. 5 laps left in the season of the championship.
Well, Kyle Busch did not get a good restart there at all.
Kind of boxed in Hornish. Cole Witt with a run to his outside to grab a spot. Here comes Keselowski. Black and white car, 48 to the inside on those fresher tires. Logano in a big hurry too.
Sam Hornish has got to go.
Austin Dillon can see Hornish just 2 cars ahead of him. If he stays right there, he'll win the championship.
Does Keselowski have enough tires to get up there and take the lead away from Kyle Larson?
Keselowski looking inside of Kyle Busch for second. And inside of Kyle Larson and through to the lead. 11th to 1st in 2 laps. to 9th. Dillon running in 11th.
Austin Dillon has a few spots to play with, but there's some cars coming with fresher tires.
Gonna have to hang on. Lap and a half to go.
I think one of them's his brother, though, and he's not going to go by. You wouldn't think.
'99, Blake Cook looking for a spot. White flag is in the air. Final lap of the season is now. Keselowski leads. Cornish is 8th. Dillon is 11th. Cornish would have to pass 4, make it 3 cars, or Dillon lose 3 spots in half a lap. Brad Keselowski is going to win the race, 11th to 1st on a late charge. And coming to the checkered flag, the NASCAR Nationwide Series champion is going to be Austin Dillon.
All good, bud. Here we are, champions! Woo! Are we the champs? Sir, yes, sir. Great job. Said never give up attitude, boys. Never give up. Never give up.
So they did have to fight for this one.
Good job, guys. Hell of a job there, Stockman.
Andy, I know RC has won a lot of championships. You know him so well. Shared those championship celebrations with him.
Yeah, I know this one's going to be very, very special for RC.
This one's about family.
Yep.
Another championship for RC, Dave.
Beginning of the day, that race car was not right. What were you thinking when they were struggling?
Well, I didn't feel we gave Austin a very good car, and he just kept going. Stockman, these guys never ever gave up, and I was just proud of them. You know, just so proud of all of them. You know, and Austin has heart. He drives with heart.
I can see that in your eyes. What's going through your heart right now?
Good.
Your grandson's the champ.
Hard to believe. And the 3.
The 3 back on top.
Pillsbury punch works.
Doc talked to him earlier, and they talked about that famous 3 getting back to victory lane. It is Richard Childress'
Show
number.
them how to do the burnout, little Jimmy.
And it's going back, and it's in the Nationwide Series. Maybe.
Well, valiant effort by Sam Hornish and his team. But Austin Dillon going to burn up some tires and maybe burn up that flag, too, with this burnout.
Brother Ty in the middle of it with him, helping him celebrate.
The emotions, a stressful day, and the accomplishment. Austin Dillon is the champ. Sam Hornish will come up 3 points short and finish second in the standings this year.
Sam Hornish Jr. is so close today, led a lot of laps, but in the end, where were you missing it?
We missed it having that late race caution. I mean, exactly right where we needed to be. We got too free early on in the race to be able to run the way that we needed to, and we had to use the set of our tires to be able to, get the car handling the way that we should have. And then, on the restart, the 54 spun his tires a little bit, and we didn't have anywhere to go, and couldn't get far enough ahead of those guys that had taken 4 tires. And it's just that's how it worked out for us tonight. We gave away points at different times throughout the season between the driver making mistakes and everybody on this team had a part in making us better on a lot of days, and we all had a hand in us not being the best that we possibly could have been every day. But we win as a team and we lose as a team, so we're all happy with all the effort that everybody put forward at Team Penske, and just needed a little bit more.
Thanks, Sam. Alan?
Well, for Sam Hornish, a great effort, but we talked about circumstances, fate, how things were going to fall out in those last laps, and they fell out in the favor of Austin Dillon and Richard Childress Racing.
Yeah, Sam drove his heart out today and got themselves in that position. Just circumstances didn't work out for you. It's not, there's always in this situation going to be a winner, and you can't call Sam a loser. He gave a great effort.
Yeah, that's Austin Dillon's mother, Tina. See Ty, family affair.
Really is. Talk about this sport being a family sport, and in so many ways, and no better example than this organization right here.
Instructions on where to go next.
I will have to say, I don't think we could see it again because of it, but 3 cars celebrating in the same day.
Yeah.
Because of the way we have the Owners' Championship and the Drivers' Championship and the winner of the race being 3 different drivers.
And Richard Childress can't even get through the crowd.
Show him his credentials.
Well, while they set up the championship celebration and ready for the trophy presentation, the race was won by Brad Keselowski, and he's in victory lane.
Of the year for Brad Keselowski. Brad, your Cup crew chief comes back over for his first time. You guys go to victory lane, but how difficult was it for you knowing how good your car was and knowing that you also have teammates going for the Owner Points Championship and the Driver Championship?
Jamie, we had 4 goals coming in here. Win the Manufacturer Championship for Ford. It's Ford Championship weekend. That's a big deal, right? Help Sam win the driver's title, the owner's title, and then win the race with this car. And we got 3 out of the 4, and I want to first say that Sam did a great job. Even though he didn't get the 4th one, he did an awesome job all year, and proud of him and his efforts. So that team is phenomenal, but really proud. This is, Jamie, this is the test team at Penske Racing, and Paul just showed up to call the race, and Kevin Buskirk and Jonathan Asser, everybody on the test team did a great job, and, I don't know, maybe it's the number, but Discount Tire's been with us all year, and glad to get them one more victory before the year's over. 7 victories in 1 year, that's the most I've ever had, and this has been a lot of fun. These are really fast Ford Mustangs, and it's been a great 2013 season in Nationwide Series for Penske Racing.
Ironic, you're in the 48. Congratulations, Brad Keselowski had a big hand in the 22 winning the Owners' Points Championship. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Joey Logano wins the race. Austin Dillon becomes the 3rd driver to win a Nationwide Series championship for Richard Childress Racing. He does it in the number 3. This championship's about family. There's Mike Dillon, son-in-law of Richard Childress, the racing legend, hugging his son Austin.
Don't look at me to talk. I can't. Yeah. What a great moment for this family.
Yeah. Well, Austin Dillon has his second NASCAR National Championship. He won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship in 2011, moved up the racing ladder, was Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And now is on to be champion of this NASCAR Nationwide Series after a tough fight with Sam Hornish. Just 3 positions on the racetrack anywhere during the season separated them in the final margin. Time to hear from the champion. Downstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, your 2013 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion, Austin Dillon. Hey, buddy, congratulations. What does this mean to you and your family?
Well, first of all, I want to thank God. You know, he does amazing things. You know, we didn't have the car tonight at all to run up there. It's probably the worst car we've had all year, and we fought. You know, my guys kept me positive in the car. You know, I knew I just had to go on that last restart, and I've been criticized for restarts for a long time, and that was a pretty good one, and just hung up against the wall there and tried to ride it out. Just got to thank God, Advocare Chevrolet, everybody that helped us, my grandfather, my whole family. They're so supportive, and this is amazing. I mean, my team, Danny Stockman, I mean, I'm not going to have him next year, and he's my brother right here. And he kept us in this thing for sure. You know, he just kept me positive, always puts me up on the wheel, and 100%, it's all heart, and we showed that tonight. You never give up, right, man?
You said before this day began, your fondest memory as a youngster growing up was when you were 8 years old, and you got to watch Dale Earnhardt Sr. get up on that wheel and win the Daytona 500. How confident were you tonight when it came to shove, when push came to shove, you were going to do the same thing, get up on that wheel and win this championship?
I was just glad to see the 12's back bumper. I knew if I could see him and know where he was, that I wasn't going to give up to the end, and I was going to have a good start. I actually had a great start and tried to get the jump on him, and it worked out for us. That's all I can say. And, you know, he was a great competitor also, Sam. You know, he brought his stuff tonight, and we were able to capitalize at the end, man. It was a hell of a race, and can't thank enough about all the guys. My guys on pit road, they did a great job. It's a heck of a team. We're just consistent. First team to ever win a championship in Nationwide Series without a win. They said it couldn't be done, and we did it.
Look at your grandfather. Look in the eyes of your grandfather, Richard. I've known this man for 30 years, and I've never seen tears. Richard, you talked about the Earnhardt karma, bringing the 3-car back to a championship stage. What does this mean to you?
Well, you told me earlier in '94 that when Dale won his championship, you interviewed he and I together, and you said, we'll do it today with Austin and you, and it'll be some Earnhardt karma. And it was. You know, I couldn't be more prouder of Austin. He drives with his heart every lap. So, you know, what can you say? He's just a great competitor, a great grandson. And Ty, was really proud of him. He ran good and hard tonight, so he led some of the race. So I was really proud of both of them.
How about that tonight? They say Florida is the sunshine state, but tonight it is the grandson who is shining brightly.